Thanks to shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, the art of drag has recently been brought to the forefront of entertainment culture. A rise in the popularity of drag has seen queens play venues like Wembley, present popular TV shows, and even win contests like Big Brother. However, not everyone appreciates drag. There's still a lot of conflicting opinions out there about the subject. Men that dress up as women are still seen as abnormal by some. So I decided to make this documentary to see if there really is still a stigma out there about drag. After identifying the straight, middle-aged male as the potential for having the most controversy about the subject, I decided to then go to my dad's office and interview some of his colleagues. I wanted to find out what they knew about drag, whether they knew anything at all, and whether they thought there was a stigma about it.
Men dressing as women, and I would say dressing flamboyantly and perhaps over the top, a kind of exaggerated form of womanhood for entertainment purposes.
I don't really know, if I'm perfectly honest.
It's a variety act.
Hey, I'm Candy Hills. How are ya?
I don't think dressing up as a woman is a talent in itself.
Yeah, I think it depends on the particular drag artist or on whether they're talented or not. Some are, some aren't.
If you go to my country, I'm from Hungary, and then you sing there, people, even if it's a gay club or whatever, people are just gonna look like that is weird, like why? Drag is completely different there, and drag is completely different in everywhere else. UK drag is very specific. It's stand-up comedy, it's singing, it's dancing, you need to have an extra talent. You don't get to just be, gorgeous and then you're done and stand by a door like me, because that's not a talent. So that's why I do performances as well.
We're so poor that if we want to see a pantomime, we have to go to Chatham. Ooh.
Have you ever been to a pantomime?
Yes, I have.
So what do you think of men dressing up as pantomime dames?
It's entertaining, but it's a show, isn't it?
But so is drag.
In terms of the pantomime dame, obviously, that male part is probably a well-known character, a well-known actor, who's probably, viewed and seen as masculine and heterosexual. And the fact that they are cross-dressing, if you like, is all part of the act, all part of the performance, and is perfectly acceptable to the audience, and no one would question in effect as to why they're doing it. Everybody knows why they're doing it. But as you say, with somebody who, a cross-dresser who does it just out of preference, yeah, I think it's different, and I can see that they carry a certain amount of stigma because it's unusual. Mm-hmm. It's not the norm.
I don't know if it's a stigma. I think a lot of people don't view it seriously. I think a lot of people see it as something that's just a bit of a laugh. I think it's certainly a lot more accepted than it would have been even 5 years ago. It's hitting mainstream now.
I think there's certainly a stigma around this. We are very lucky that we're living in basically the center of the universe in London. It's much easier here. It's much more accepted here than if you go to a smaller town or if you go abroad. That's much more difficult. It's even more difficult being just gay, not like just dressing up like this. Come on.
I'm going to take, say, my dad as an example, because I would imagine that without understanding it, you'd probably frown on it, and you may take a really old-fashioned attitude that men should be doing that.
My father, if something like O'Grady came on or a drag queen, he'd turn the television off. He wouldn't watch it.
Why?
Because it's abnormal.
But I don't know whether or not there is such a thing as drag being, as people being openly hostile against a drag show. You know, I don't see people campaigning outside of a venue that has a drag show on, saying this is immoral, this is illegal, this is.
I think being seen as pretending to be something that you're not is the issue.
Whether they're doing it out of a clothing choice, if you like, if they're choosing to dress like that, I would think them quite strange.
You don't have to like it. I do. Bye.
Do you think straight males get a bad reputation for stigmatization of drag queens?
It's like a bad press, isn't it? You do get that.
Some people like comedians and some people like singers and some people like drag acts. It's just another form of entertainment.
A few of the men suggested that the stigma might actually lie with the older generation, like their dads. So I decided to interview my grandpa to see what his opinion was on drag. Now, I was kind of a bit wary when I was going to interview him because he's a strong Catholic man, so I was definitely prepared for the worst.
I know certain people that likes to wear likes to wear dresses. It's fine with me. I mean, we live in a democracy. We are entitled to say what we think and to do what we want as long as it is legal.
What did your parents say when you said you wanted to do drag?
I didn't tell them I want to do drag, I just did it. And I'm not really in touch with my dad. He saw my Facebook profile and he told my sister that he doesn't really approve it. Well, I'm not approving that he's an alcoholic, so I guess that's just, yeah, that's what it is.
Do you think it can be a career?
I only know of about possibly 2 or 3 or maybe 4 people that have done it out of all the people that have tried.
I don't know, it's just, this is how I express myself.
So I've been doing drag for about 2 or 3 years on and off. I'm not a performer, but I occasionally like to go out to the club, I just have with friends, just here and there. Just like to mess around with it really. Just feel confident, pretty.
Some people will do it because they have a wish to entertain. Some people will do it because they feel the need to dress and make up as women. But that's each one to his own choice.
But for me, it's a job. For other people, lots of straight guys dressing up, this is a fetish for them. And there's lots of reasons. Mine is, this is my job, this is my art, this is my creation.
I watch in the afternoon a program like Tenable, which is a family program, and one of the team were 5 drag queens, which in my opinion were very good. They respected themselves, they were very well dressed like the 18th, 19th century ladies, and they were very agreeable. So why should one have any stigma against something like that?
Quite a few of the straight men that I asked didn't think there was a stigma around drag. Do you think there is?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically, I feel like straight men would probably say that because they don't go out and drag themselves, they probably don't necessarily hang around gay bars, they might not experience it themselves and they might not surround themselves in that environment. But no, absolutely there is. People are still very sort of traditional in their views and opinions about gender.
So some people still have a problem with drag. Why do you think they might have a problem?
And the people that feel very macho, men and all that, they don't understand that other men could be influenced in dressing as women, etc. But that is something that I understand and I do not judge.
Have you ever been given abuse or yelled at in the street whilst in drag?
I haven't, because I don't really, I don't travel in drag, and I don't travel, I mean, I just take an Uber and get here, and they have their reactions, but they're not really allowed to like lash out or whatever. They either very quiet, they don't look at you, they don't talk to you, or they're very interested because they're all straight men in their car, honey, and they want all this honey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, you get people that just like, if they see a man in a dress, they'll be like, disgusting, the hell is that? And for example, I've had my friends at clubs before, like they've had drinks thrown at them, you get abuse. Like, I feel like most drag queens I know don't even take public transport. Yeah, because they're just too scared that anything will happen.
Would you say you feel more comfortable in drag than as Aiden?
I definitely do. I have much more confidence in drag. When you're in drag in a club, you get away with loads of things. What if you would do not in drag, they would fucking punch you. Did I just say fucking? I didn't.
They might have been a stigma 10 or 20 years ago, but we are in a very liberal world now, where we see sex change on telly almost daily, and people are quite understanding at the need for somebody to do what they're doing. The people that would feel there is a stigma attached to that are people that do not understand.
Looking back on this process, it's hard to definitively tell whether there still is a stigma about drag. A lot of the straight males that I interviewed were actually really supportive, and a lot of them didn't think there was a stigma. But is that because they don't really see the hate that still does happen? Like the drag queen said, they still don't like taking public transport out of fear of being abused. But to be honest, if I've learned anything from this experience, it's that it doesn't actually matter whether there's a stigma or not with drag. Drag is about practicing something that you love and that you're great at. So who cares if you're doing it for fun, if you're doing it for money or to perform or whatever else? I think the more confident you are in yourself and the more happy you are, the less you're going to care about what other people think, and the more you're going to realise that it doesn't actually matter what other people think.
You don't have to please everybody. You have to please yourself.